Hey everybody, welcome to the Ronline report. Very happy to have today's guests. I enjoy interviewing people I've never met and stuff, but it's always cool for me to interview people I've known for a while, and I've known Chris Cormier for quite a while. Chris, welcome to the show. So happy to have you here.
Thank you, Ron. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Instead of a question, I'm going to open this up with my favorite story about your 1993 USA win. Very decisive win. But I was backstage after the judging. I was working on the TV coverage for ESPN, and we were watching the heavyweight. This is before there were super heavyweights. Right. You guys were heavyweights. Heavyweight first call-outs and second call-outs on the little monitors. And someone behind me is watching the first call-out, and he said, "What do you think? What do you think?" And I'm like, "Oh, Cormier all day." And the guy behind me goes, "What about Chris Duffy?" And I didn't look back, but I go, "Oh, Duffy sucks. He's blocky. He's got a wide waist. He's got no arms." I said, "Duffy will never be Chris Cormier." And I heard someone like pick some shit up and walk away, and I looked back, and it was Chris Duffy. So,
what about Chris?
How embarrassing.
That's hilarious.
What are your biggest memories of that show?
Just like I remember walking there, I felt like death. And I always knew that, if I'm in shape, I probably feel like I'm going to die. So I was like, okay. I walked back there and almost tripped over this little small crack in the road. Oof. And stumbling through there. And then I just remember living like 5 minutes away from there and just being so easily to go straight to the venue and go. So the show had started at the night show, and I was chilling at home. My whole family's in the house. I was just kicking back, and I knew the show was on, but I said, okay, the heavyweight's going to go on later, so I just peeked in right before the show to do the night show.
Oh, that's awesome.
Got my trophy, man.
Yeah, that was a great win. So you were part of, what I consider the last of the great era of bodybuilding out in Venice Beach. I think it was probably from the 1950s, 60s, and I'd say around 2000 is when it all started to kind of fade away. But you were right there throughout the 90s, and you were one of the the main guys at Gold's Venice. I remember seeing you training with Flex and Rico. You guys were rock stars back then. What was it like in Venice Beach for those who weren't lucky enough to be there, in the 90s?
In the 90s, it was great because I don't know, I think maybe because I was young and I just got there, I was totally you could hear like a noise, like some type of buzzing in the air is what I used to hear every time I stepped in there. It was almost like a energy that you can actually hear.
Yeah.
And it's you would see to your left, some of the most prominent bodybuilders in the world. And you see the same to the left and the right. And you go into the next room, you see another one. You're walking there, have like 10 top worldwide guys in there at one time, and there's a lot more females now because obviously they got bikini and stuff like that now. But you would see some great looking physiques. Remember Mimi Hitzman? She was back there back in the day.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
You would see I remember seeing Mike Quinn.
Yeah.
Bent over rowing like 450 some pounds or so. He did like 4 reps with it, if I remember right. And I remember he dropped and he was like, "Motherfucker," like real loud. And I was young, so I was just like, man, I was like, I never seen someone like that, like ferocious in the gym, and just like he just went to town. And I was like, dang,
How old were you? How old were you when you first visited Gold's? You were just a teenager, right?
Yeah, I was going there when I was 15,
Wow.
leaving here, and I'd go up there and get some incentive, buy a magazine, buy a tank top, go to the beach, watch Craig Munson and all those guys out there on the beach, lifting like 5 and 6 and 600, six plates and stuff on the bench press.
Yeah.
Rocking that, I watched that all the time, and then I'd go home for like a month, and I'd go back out there and get some more energy, more incentive to keep going with this, and although I was shy, I still didn't step on stage till I was 17. But I was uh, I was gearing up for it for a while, and throughout my wrestling and stuff like that, and I ventured onto the stage when I was 17.
You started winning right away, if I recall, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I took a fourth in my first one, but then I started winning in my when I was 17, and then I actually took third in the Mr. California Teenage when I was 18, and then I won the teenage title when I was 19. But I was competing all up and down, looking for teenagers to beat. So, because I was like, that was my goal. I wanted to be the best teenager in the world. Cause I was right behind Sean Ray, and he won the Teen World, and I was like, that was definitely my goal, was to do that before I was 20.
Did you do that?
Well, I won the nationals, and I took second in the overall for the team nationals behind George Inte.
Oh yeah.
So, but I beat everyone I could beat, and
Yeah. Gerard was no slouch either. He was pretty good
nope,
back in the day.
he was no joke.
So how did you end up living in Venice? How old were you when you moved there, and why'd you move?
Well, I was here in Palm Springs, and I was going back and forth there, and every time I go, either I picked up a guest poser appearance or some type of interview that was starting. I wanted to start my career off, and everything was happening good every time I go, away from Palm Springs and into Orange County, or I did my first interview with Lonnie Zieper,
Yeah.
like 17. So he was like, watch out for this guy, type of thing. And I was like, okay, well, everything's happening good every time I go west, so I'm just gonna, I was still in school here in Palm Springs in College of the Desert. My mom was like, she was telling me, it's, like, why are you here? Like, what, if you want to be that person, go be that person. You can't, you're not going to be that person here, so you need to go where people are at that's talking that way, that's living that way, that's doing it. I was like, I looked at her like that, you know what, you're right. And then I made it a point to get an apartment out there in Venice, and started training there. I actually trained there when I was a teenager for the Team California in 87. So I stayed in an apartment, go down to the beach, train, go out to the beach after I would train and lay out in the sun, have some food, go back and train in the evening.
Yeah.
But like I say, it was so many people in that goals. It was the lifestyle again. It was like, everyone was at the firehouse. There was only one place to go. There was only one. We all hung together. We trained together, cardio together, ate. We went out together. We did everything together.
That's probably what I say. You guys were the last of that era, because I think after you guys, everyone just started moving away from Venice. Guys, they go back to wherever state they were from, or they go out to Vegas, or you didn't have that real community anymore like you had up until that point.
Yeah, but like I said, we went to the mall together. We went everywhere together. It's just. But it's funny. We all had a paranoia of skipping workouts, skipping meals. Like when we started working together at the nightclub, and sometimes we played video games after we would work. We all go to a house or to a arcade type of thing and go play all the time. So sometimes we would leave that, which would be 5 or 6 in the morning, and we go straight to the gym. And even though we're passing out, falling asleep in between sets, but we were like, we better train now because we're gonna sleep all day.
You just reminded me of something. Did you have like an altercation when you were bouncing with Mike Tyson at one point?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's not worth the story. I think it is. Not everybody can say that happened to them.
Oh, Mike. No, he was champion of the world at the time. I was like in '92, and he had a knack for going to the nightclubs, and you'll see him with you'll see his workers or his people, whatever they were, his goons, with a whole yellow tablet that big, writing down phone numbers. or a chick standing in line. You see a line for like 20 girls deep,
Oh my
giving
God.
them the phone number and stuff, and where they can reach them.
Wow.
And then, you know, he was sitting there, his neck was like so big, head, you know how he used to look, you know?
Yeah, he looked like a bulldog.
Yeah, and, you know, people introduced me to him, you know, the bosses and stuff. Yeah, it was Chris Cormier, the bodybuilder, blah, blah, blah. So then we were outside after the club was over, and we just, you know, all the bouncers out there and security out there in the parking lot. And next thing you know, I felt someone that just hit me from behind. It felt like it was a brick at the time.
Ooh.
And it was his hand, you know, because his hand is pretty damn hard for hitting things all the time, right? So,
Yeah.
and it just shocked me. And I was like, mother effer, you know, just like I said anything that came to mind at the time.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I turned around real quick. You know, when you're bouncing, you're ready to go at any time anyway. And then it happened to be him. And then, you know, he had this loud pitched voice. Because he didn't say much when I met him inside, but he got this loud pitched voice, especially at the time. And his body's a little bit different than what it is now.
Yeah.
And he was like, I said, what the fuck? You know, he's like, he told me to do it. Like that, talking about one of his buddies, you know. And I'm looking to fucking to unload some of this rage that I have inside of me, you know. And, you know, he kind of like, well, what you want to do? And he started coming left and right at me like that. And that was a hell of a sight to see. Because, you know, I wrestled, but I was like, at that point, I was going to be no match for a boxing match with that dude.
No.
So, you know, and plus he had 20 goons with him behind him. So it was like, that was going to be a death march right there.
Yeah.
Rico and Flex were like over to the right, and they came, you know, running over. But it was like people started pulling us away from each other.
Yeah.
I was actually backing up as he was coming towards me, so I'm like thinking, okay, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
And then, you know, we walked away from it, and people were like, oh, you could sue him, and I'm like, I'm not into suing people and all that shit. I wanted an apology. I wanted to hit him. I wanted something like that. I wanted something else besides suing somebody, right? So we went looking for him the next weekend, and then, you know, now years later, I'm like, I fucking went to go look for Mike Tyson. Like, who the hell?
Where did you look for Mike Tyson at?
Well, we was looking around town because he was in town for a while. And we went to this bar where everyone went, that like an after party type restaurant. After the clubs closed, everyone go to like, it was a place in Beverly Hills called Larry Parker's.
Okay.
So we go to Larry Parker's, and we were just in there eating, and then he came in with all his people, and then, you know, I think even Rico went up to him first and like, what's up, man? You hit my homeboy and shit, you know? Like, what's up with that? You know, so he was like, oh, he can take it. You know, that type of, like, trying to, like, downplay it a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, I just say, you know what? I kind of, like, took that as, forget it, let's just fucking walk away from this thing. But, yeah, that was my situation with Mike Tyson.
Cool. Fine. I've never heard the whole story. Thank you. All right. The next question is probably the toughest question in the interview. It's about, you know, some people don't feel you lived up to your full potential. You could have been a multiple Mr. Olympia. You had physique had so many things going for it. The structure was perfect, shape, proportion, balance, mass, condition. You know, no weak body parts. I mean, you had a hell of, in your prime, you were one of the best in the world. There's no doubt. You know, so people say Chris didn't live up to his potential because he was partying too much. And let me say to everybody, I'm not judging Chris because I was right there next to him on more than one occasion. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
When people say that, you partied when you should have been resting or whatever, and that's why you weren't Mr. Olympia. How do you answer that?
I think it was more to it than that. I think that could have been I can't, you know, lie and be like, okay, that probably didn't affect me. I'm probably sure it did on some levels because, you know, I'm sure if you're keeping your focus and staying indoors and, you know, doing the whole military style thing, I'm sure that would have, you know, did me well, great, you know. Yeah. At the time, your mentality is way different. You know, of course you can sit here at my age now and be like, I could point out this, and that. You not good women in my life. I could point out, so many different things. You remember how it was back then?
Oh yeah.
And they were coming. You go to a city, you got like 3 or 4 of them coming for you.
Yeah. You were a popular guy. Absolutely.
Take the one in the in the red. And then that's not good for bodybuilding. And then the people that I mentor, like I think people would think that, for me to mentor someone, I teach them. I tell them the things that I did wrong and the things that I know for sure didn't help me.
Yeah.
And that's how I think I'm one of the best around at that, because I know the good, the bad, and the ugly about everything.
Yeah.
And the different mistakes you make from losing your focus. And I think a lot of guys that try to, they think the relationship thing is the most common thing. But if you're not even building anything, but you have different people in your life that's not even going to be there for the long haul with you.
Yeah.
That turned into wasted money, wasted time, and not good situations when it came to, living up to your best potential and what you're trying to do. And you set out for a goal for yourself, but it didn't actually include dragging on a female, or dragging on some people that's hang-oners to you. I used to walk around with 20 people with me when I would go places.
Wow.
A lot of times I pay for everyone's meal. So I'm sitting there. It was no, that's $1,500, $2,000 in a dinner.
Chris, you weren't making LeBron James money. I don't know why you were doing that.
No, but people knew I was generous, and that people fed off of that, and I fed off of that too.
Yeah.
A lot of people do. It's all of that stuff, and then the pressure that you put under, that I put on myself, that all of that gets to you after a while. Then you need a release.
Yeah.
Where's you gonna get the release? I did the time in the gym. I've been in the gym my whole life. I'm still in the gym to this day. I spent my life in the gym, and getting your mind and keeping it in that place where it should be to be a champion like that. That's the tough part. That's where people, Dorian, he had that down. Dorian, I know that's his personal life, but he kept all of that stuff locked in this section here, and he kept this over here constantly going for his goal. He didn't leave his relationship because he knew it would be good for him winning that Olympia again. Then after that, that's when his whole life changed. He said, okay, I can let go of this. I can let my hair down if I want to. I can do what I want. But before that, he kept everything focused steady. A lot of people are not able to accomplish that.
Yeah, that's a whole other level of discipline. I don't think most humans probably aren't even capable of. I think he told me he didn't have a drink, or more than one drink at a time, and that was like a couple times a year for like 10 years in a row, straight.
Right.
Something.
Because we were friends, but he wasn't that. Like he wasn't like, what I'm saying. His mind was on what he was doing, you know. And then as soon as he retired, then we became closer, and now we're like real close, like brothers now. But even when he was, at that level, he was always trying to get me to fulfill that. He believed that I could be the best also.
Yeah.
But yeah, keeping that focus, man, that's the thing, and it's gonna help you to keep an eye out for stuff like that. It's not gonna. You know what I'm saying? That's fast, this and that. But I was like, in my mind, I was like, I'm gonna do this stuff while I'm young. I'm not gonna be, in the club when I'm 60. I'm gonna have a fun now. I don't want to be that old guy. I'm gonna have my fun now. I did have a lot of fun though. It was fun on doing the tours. It was a hard work. But for people that don't think I worked hard, I outworked most people you can ever imagine.
Well, let me have you explain to people something, because those of us who were around you and read the magazines back then know that you had had a reputation as one of the very strongest. You were basically almost the Johnny Jackson of that era, as far as one of the strongest bodybuilders in the world. What are some of the weights that you moved? Because I don't think some of these people realize what you were doing at your prime.
Just like on a normal basis, I'd be doing I'd incline 400 and 500 pounds at a time. I'd do like 400 for like 15 reps, you know, without even breaking a sweat. Then I'd leave that and go to the incline dumbbells with 200-pound dumbbells, rocking those for, you know, eight reps, 8 to 10 reps or so. Then I go for the flat and I do the same thing there. I remember staying out all night one night and worked at an early morning workout, like 6 to 8 o'clock in the morning workout.
Oh.
And I did like 35 plates on the leg press for
my
like
God.
20, 25 reps, something like that.
Wow.
Even on a hack squat, I would do like 10 plates.
Yeah, yeah.
I could eat a bowl of cereal doing 10 plates on a hack squat. Yeah.
That sounds like a good video.
Thanks.
I also want to give you credit for something. Your contest history doesn't really reflect how good you were, because as the guys my age like to point out to some of the younger guys on the forums, the 90s was just this, it was stacked. People just don't get it. Stacked with talent. So let me explain to people. You got third at the Olympia in 1999 behind who? Ronnie Coleman and Flex Wheeler. You got third again in 2002, this time behind Ronnie Coleman and Kevin Levrone. So these are like the legends of the sport. Arnold Classic, you know, you have the unfortunate record of taking five second places in a row. But listen to people. This is who he lost to: Flex Wheeler, Ronnie Coleman, Jay Cutler. So we got Flex,
and then Dexter at the end.
It was Dexter, yeah. So he did it one more time. So yeah, I mean, you know, do you sometimes wish you could be competing right now against today's pros?
Come on, man. You already know. You know, that's the thing is, you know, but the people who throw around the word legendary and all that stuff, the legendary status comes from the people that you actually competed against. It's not because you're old and you competed before. It's just because you competed against legendary people. You did legendary shit. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I wanted that title, and I was like, you know, I just kept going after it, and, you know, kept getting bad breaks with either, you know, the amount of shows I was doing. I would always do the Ironman before that. I won the Ironman 4 years in a row.
That's right, yeah.
The reason I didn't get the 5th year, because I told Dexter, hey, you want to come over and do this show? I'm not going to do it. I'm in town here in shape in the damn audience. Yeah. That was a mistake. I wish I had that 10 grand, you know, to this day. You know, it's just like, it's stupid, because people, you know, now you got guys not doing the Olympia. It's like, man, when you qualify for the Olympia, do the Olympia. It's part of your legacy. Right. Make your legacy packed. Look at the, you know, when I get on the contest stage, that's what you're here for, is to compete. To see how good you can be against the best of the best. And, you know, now times you can win a show, but you didn't really beat any prominent people. You got a title, but it's just not the same as having stacked lines in your in your category, in your class.
Another thing that's changed a lot is, you know, when Flex turned pro, at that time, nobody would say, well, I just won the USA or I just won the Nationals. I'm going to take a year off. I'm going to take 2 years off. And then I'm going to come and do a small show, and I'll see how I do. And then I'll take another year off. And, you know, you guys were out of the gate.
Wanted to see how good we could be. That's what we, you know, came to, you know, sacrifice so much time with family, friends, or whatever. You know, it's a lot of sacrifice, but you got to have the mindset or the heart of the lion, and, you know, that's all part of wanting to be the best you can be. It's not being the best you can be by sitting out the Olympia. Yeah, definitely. You need to take your lumps. Like, I mean, when I'm my first Olympia, you think I went in there to win it? You know what I'm saying? I went in there to see where I was at, a measuring stick. Right. I mean, I had Dorian Yates took first, Sean Ray was second, Kevin Levrone was third. Fourth, you know, they had what was it? I think Paul Gillette, they had Porter Cattell, and then there was me. They had Master behind me.
Yep.
They had, you know, all these people, you know, yeah, man, Flex, I think Flex placed behind me in one of those Olympias then also.
Yep.
I don't remember, I know it was 94, 95, it was one of those. But, you know, it was straight up bosses in there, you know, it's like, but you want to, you know, it's just a different time and different mentality. We don't have social media back then. It was just, you know, we got all our information 3 months later, just like everybody else.
Yeah.
And we wrote a letter if it was going to Europe. It took a while to
put a stamp on it. You had to find a mailbox.
Oh, yeah.
It was a whole freaking process. What I want to ask about is this Camel Crew is huge news. Everyone talked. It's been like the past 2 years now. First picture I saw of you over there in Kuwait, I was like, what is Chris Cormier doing over there with these people? How did you get in with the Camel Crew, Chris? Tell us.
Oh yeah. Well, I always wanted to go there. I used to see Dennis James and those guys going out there from back in the day.
Yeah.
But I never got an invite. I never even got, you know, even when I asked about it, it's got like kind of shut down to go. So I was like, okay, so that's fine. So I actually went to Qatar, along with some other bodybuilders. When I was competing, I had the Olympia 5 weeks after, and we did an appearance out there, and that was my only, you know, time to go to the Gulf was at that time. So then I was at the Arnold Classic, and I met Beta, and he was the owner of the gym, and you know, we took a photo together, and you know, I said I'd like to, you know, just, you know, didn't. I said, hey, I'd like to go visit your gym and see about maybe possibly doing some work out there, seminar, something like that. He gave me his number, and he said, hey, why don't we meet up later today? We meet at the hotel, and we go to dinner, and we have a discussion about it. So from that point, I went and met with him. We had talked about what I'd like to do, what I can do. He said he was a fan of mine from way back. I was his favorite bodybuilder, and you know, we just kind of just hit it off from there. He said, I always thought you could win that Olympia, and I never could figure out why you didn't win. You know, all this stuff. So, you know, we talked, and you know, we came, you know, we're really close now, and he brought me over there, and I did a seminar for posing, for training, for, you know, for competition, you know, just try to help the guys up there, IQ, with stage presence, with all the things you need to know when you go to compete and look good up there. And you know, my competitional record speaks for itself. A lot of experience, and you know, and I had some guys that turned pro at that time after coming to my classes that I had out there, physique guys, bodybuilders, and now I've been out there maybe 3 or 4 times since then, working with different people and different projects. And then recently I got the nod to work with Rami.
Oh, wow.
And him, I'm his, you know, it's all his training and all his posing. I'm going to be doing that all the way to Olympia. So I'm going to be going back out there in July and staying to Olympia there.
So you're going to be taking Rami through his workouts all the way up to Olympia?
I've been doing it already, yeah.
Oh, wow. What have you changed about the way he trained?
Huh?
What have you changed about the way he was training?
His range of motion, his concentration, getting his primary muscles, the brunt of the work, and focusing in on different, like a sniper would. Like, we need this area, this muscle to grow. We need that area, and it's stuff that I wanted to do a long time that I've seen that he wasn't paying that close attention to, or maybe didn't have the know-how. I don't know.
Right.
But you know, he wasn't even, you know, training his abs correctly. None of that stuff was being done correctly in my eyes. And I would see him, and I was like, I'm not gonna run over to you and be like pointing out different things I see you doing wrong, but if we get a chance to talk about it, and most people don't know, they don't realize it. You know, a lot of you guys are professionals, but they don't exactly know how to orchestrate uh, a proper training program for themselves to go up there with missing body parts at this level of the game. Just because I don't know, maybe just it wasn't pointing out. Just like when I went to Venice, Rico, first thing Rico said was like, "You don't have any back." I was like, "What? What do you mean you don't have any back?"
Wow.
It was like, but you don't see it. If you see the muscle there as the defined or the separation, okay, you got it. But it's like, is it thick? Is it prominent? Is it 3D? No. But you have a lot of people missing different areas. They don't even look at their back. Like I see a lot of people on Instagram even. Like your back is terrible, but yet you sit and hit these back shots. Like you don't have any rhomboids that's even prominent in your damn back. What the hell?
Yeah.
You can't even see the bottom of the lat insertions. Like why are you posing your back?
Instagram's a funny thing, man. It's a great thing.
Am I right though? Like
absolutely.
In the day when we were competing, all the muscles in your back was prominently showing.
Yeah.
Huh?
That's all. Back to the Oxygen guys and the Camel crew. This is Ramadan for them, a holy month.
Oh yeah.
Tell me if this is true. I think I read it or heard it that they reversed their their schedule so that they sleep, because the Muslims in Ramadan are not allowed to eat while there's any light out at all. They can't eat or drink, correct?
Correct.
So the bodybuilders sleep all day during Ramadan, stay up all night so they can get all their meals in.
Yeah.
Is that what they're doing right now?
Exactly. And the days are longer at this period of time of the year. That's another thing.
Ooh. It's June.
But you'll probably get arrested if you go out on the street with your Gatorade bottle.
Oh, man. Back to you now.
Sure. So you would think that that this period of time, it's religious, so it's it'll be not a good thing to go against it.
Right.
But these guys, you see they bounce back really quickly right after this month. So I'm just I'm waiting for it after this month to go back over there. I was tempted to attempt to be there last year, but something happened when I didn't go. But I was tempted to see what it was like. I was going to go and work with people, in the evening time. I think it's really packed. And that's another thing. You go to the mall out there, it's prime. 1 o'clock in the morning. It's like the middle of the day out there.
Wow.
It's just people just like guys, kids, everything in the mall, walking and shopping and eating, and I was like, man, you won't see that in America.
That's crazy.
It's cool though. I love the lamb over there for sure.
I know that it's been 10 years since you competed. You had a pretty serious spinal injury, I believe, that basically led to retiring. What happened?
Well, I was doing a lot of traveling. I would go and stay in Amsterdam for like 4 months at a time, 5 months at a time. I'd go stay in Australia for that length of time also, working out and being, it's just, I was just like on the road, man, that's my career. But it helps with, I built a lot of relationships in different countries, and I made a lot of fans that I still have to this day, just from being like, I'm not just here in America. I was like in these different countries and also in England, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I was in Amsterdam and I was training there, taking all the stuff, everything. I came back to America and I had an infection, a bacterial infection. So I was a renegade, man. I was like not really fond of hospitals. I'm still not fond of hospitals.
Yeah.
This day, and I had a doctor friend of mine just give me some antibiotics. I said, I got an infection. Can you send me some? into the pharmacy. I went and picked them up. It
Yeah.
was the wrong antibiotics.
Ooh.
Major mistake in my life
Mm.
is to not just go get it taken care of. That's why anytime I have anything to do with anyone that any type of infection or situation happen, I'm like, man, go take care of it. Like,
Yeah.
no ifs, ands, or buts. The big mistake to be like, I don't want to hold water. I don't want to. No, man, take care of it.
Hmm.
The ones that I was using wasn't the right time, so it calmed it down, but it didn't kill it.
Mm.
So it was like, in my shoulder. Then when I was training for Olympia, I was already in touch with Dorian. I was going to come and do my finishing my last 12 weeks over in England.
Yeah.
And I was getting a lot of insight, like from even Manny was like, why don't you just go and disappear, Chris, and just come back and just kill. He was always telling me, I said, I don't need to be in America hanging out or whatever. You need to be solitude, training, solitude, just training. I said, you did that, I don't think anyone could beat you. And then I was like, you know what? I think you're right, man. I'm going to try it. So I was over in New Jersey waiting for Dorian to say, okay, come over now. I got this. I was just waiting for a place to stay. I think he had something going on at his house, so I couldn't really stay with him at that time. Which I wish I would have just got over there. But so I'm waiting in New Jersey, and then next thing you know, I went to go train, and I was like 295 pounds. I had abs. I was lean. I thought it was going to be about at least 270 in that Olympia that year.
Wow.
I know for a fact I would have won that show for sure. But here I am, 295 pounds, in the hospital, complaining from back pain. I couldn't. It got to the point where it was so severe I couldn't even move. I was paralyzed. I was on the floor. And I kept calling my buddy Bo to come home to help me get to the bathroom. He's like, okay. So then I'm like, Bo, are you coming? I can't move. I can't move. I can't move 1 inch. Like my whole body was just like your nervous system is right there in your spine. So your central nervous system for you, once that's affected with an infection, you can just think that everything is shut down in your body. And he was like, Chris, I can't pick you up. You're too heavy. I can't pick you up. So I was like, man, I didn't want to call an ambulance. And then I got to the point I said, just call 911, man.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, the pain was coming more and more severe to where it was like unbearable. So by the time they got there, I was seeing people who wasn't even there. I was in so much pain.
Wow.
It was like, so we went to one hospital, and it was just so painful just to get up on that board. For someone to move you, you're screaming, And so we went to one hospital, and we wrecked that place up because they didn't have the machinery to help me. So we had to get back in the ambulance with another hospital, and that hospital is where I stayed, and they couldn't figure out exactly what was wrong at the time. I thought it was like something that I've dealt with before, just way more severe.
Yep.
And actually, then I was in an induced coma for like over a month. So.
Ooh, damn.
So when I woke up, I'm thinking, they're filling me in on who won the UFC fight. I'm looking on the calendar. They stopped moving the calendar after like 4 days. So I'm like, oh, I was in here 4 days? Like, damn. And everyone looked at me all crazy, like, Chris, you've been here over a month, dude. What are you talking about 4 days? I'm like, I'm still thinking I'm training for Olympia. So I got to get out of here. I got to get ready for Olympia. And it was like looking at me like, Chris, you're not doing the Olympia. I'm like, what? What do you mean? I'll move the covers. The freakiest thing I've seen in my life. You remember my quads were pretty thick.
Yeah,
right?
Great legs, yeah.
They're still all right to this day.
Yeah.
But to see them from this to this, from when you wake up, that killed me. I was like, I pulled a Tupac. I was like, let me out of this fucking hospital. The walls were closing in on me. I was like, I ended up going to a hotel for like 5 days. Telling people to bring my PlayStation over there because I can't be in the hospital. But the doctor would come to the hotel, which was surprising. I was on this drip, but they didn't tell me I could have lost my life because it's, the staph infection is nothing to play with.
Right.
So you need to be in a clean area and all this stuff. And they ended up putting a PICC line in my arm. I was under 3 bags of
saline.
Yeah, the antibiotics.
Antibiotics. Wow, 3 bags
a day, dude. 3 a day, and everything your stomach turns to not good. Just not even good to even talk about.
Wow.
Yeah, that was not good, man.
So, do you still have issues from all that, or is that all resolved? You still have any kind of pain?
Well, it changed my body, man. It changed my body a little bit, because my spine had it was a little bit worse then. It's gotten better, but it kind of changed the little curvature in my spine.
Wow.
You can imagine how painful that can be to change your spine.
Sounds like it gave you like scoliosis.
Yeah, basically.
Wow. Last question. A couple guys of your era have been making comebacks. Kevin Levrone last year, and now Flex Wheeler. Does this surprise you? What do you think about it? What's your opinion on their comebacks?
I think it's great. I think it's good for the sport. That they're just continuing their dream. You don't have to be like, okay, I don't think they're saying I'm gonna be the best in my life ever. Yeah. But I mean, it's good for them to continue their journey. There's nothing wrong with that.
I know.
If I could continue my journey that way, I would do so. But it's like, I'm just a person that like, I've probably seen my best days already, and I don't think I'd move the same. I don't think I would do things the way I would like to want to do it. So that's probably like, I'm just, I'm still enjoying the competitional side of it. And I think some of these coaches get really way too into the competitional side of it. But I'm just liking being a part of, people going to war. Going to war and seeing how good they can be and putting their all into it. And my passion is still stronger for competition, so all the different aspects of competition, I love it still. So
you're a prominent coach now. You work with a lot of athletes. How can people contact you regarding your coaching services?
You can contact me on rdttraining@gmail.com. The real deal. Chris Cormier @gmail. Okay. You can thegrind.guru website. thegrind.guru. Yeah, not .com, but .guru. Okay. Thegrind.guru.
I know.
I'm helping a lot of people. Even I got team competitors. You help because to build your glutes and build your body in a certain way. And even, the physique guys, and I got a classic like Breon, who won the New York show.
Yep.
He's another guy I've been working with over the last year and a half or so. We do a lot of training and posing together.
Also, Gerald Williams, who just won the California Pro, is your client.
I know him. I met him when he was a teenager, and we had worked together when they won the teenage title. Then I come out to Venice and do some training and stuff, and we built a rapport from there on, and we kept in touch over the years. And he called me up, hey Chris, I want to get back in the competition. And I said, yeah, man. And so, certain things that I have him apply to this. If I were your age, this is what I would do. As far as comparing, like, your strategy should be with your nutrition. It should be just locked down. This is what I'm a bodybuilder. This is what I do. There's no room for all the other crazy foods and stuff, and the posing. He takes all the different things and puts it to work. The training, the posing, all the different things. Even just mentoring him on life decisions, stuff that you don't always do exactly what I asked, but he heard me. And then when I say I told you so, which I do for a lot of guys, I told you so. I've been through it already.
Oh man.
And, yeah, and then Rami, also, and then like all the guys in Kuwait, like Askanani, all those guys, I help them with the posing, and if they want any type of advice, even, not Nathan Diasher, all those guys, I help whatever they need me to. And then when we go to compete, I'm doing whatever I can do for these guys. So, I'm helping the Austin team, and I love it because it's all about bodybuilding out there and all about the sport. And even when you walk around town, people are taking photos with you out there. And, it's really cool. They'll pull their car over and get out and take a photo with you.
Wow. Well, it's cool to see, Chris, that you're still such a big part of the sport, even though you've stepped away from the stage a long time ago. You clearly have that passion for it. It's never going to go away. And I'm sure you must feel a certain sense of reward from being able to help all these people.
Oh yeah, man, it feels good.
From what you felt as an athlete yourself.
Yeah, and then when I see it in them, and then it comes out that that was I said, hey, this guy got a good foundation to work with, and I like seeing, okay, we improved this body part, we improved that body part, and then when they nail the poses correctly and all that stuff, I think, all that's so rewarding and gratifying. That's what I live for is that feeling right there, and that drives me, especially when they work hard, they don't complain, stuff like that. And then another thing is like some of these guys nowadays, you get real sensitive about me saying any kind of criticism. There's some guys around here that walk around people that actually have the answers to what they need, but yet they sit there in their own little bubble like they don't need no outside or whatever.
Yeah.
And, they just keep bumping their head against the same wall. And they're real sensitive if you say something like that. That's why I try not to say too much about these guys, because they're just on a whole nother level if you have any kind of say so about no, that's not the way it goes, and no, this is wrong or that's right, or you should be a certain professionalism about this business.
Cool. Well, Chris, I want to thank you so much for joining us and being a guest today. You're one of the few links to that era that's still on the scene, so it's cool to have your perspective on a lot of these things going on.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
So yeah, for the Ronline Report, this has been Ron Harris with The Real Deal, Chris Cormier.